I think I'm a special one.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. We're talking USMNT qualifiers. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, Chad? This is episode 32. So we're getting up there in episodes, closer to 50.
We're on to the January. Are there any qualifiers in February?
Well, the last one of this cycle.
Yeah, okay. Then I can't call them the January qualifiers.
No.
But this window is a little mini series. We're doing one after each qualifier game.
Yeah, we put it up on the Instagram poll. I think the results ended like close to 60-40 in terms of having a mini episode after every one. So maybe it's something we stick with. I don't know. I think like we've done it for the Champions League the Champions League final where we do like a preview and then like a tactical, like in-depth kind of reaction show. And like, it's cool. I don't know if people like it better than just like all of the qualifiers wrapped in one, but it's at least like holds us accountable to make sure we have notes on the game and get it out there in case somebody wants this. And
yeah, and it's a huge window too.
Yeah. So I think it'd be cool to go back and look at, our reactions to these. And this might be 20 minutes, might be 30 minutes. Somehow we'll probably make this into an hour-long episode again. The last episode we did, the free play episode, that was episode 31. And it was great. Like we got like some good hits on Instagram, Twitter, a lot of TikTok views, like a lot of discussion. And I think that was the point, right? Like it's like our view might not be perfect for every, situation. Same with our thoughts on the national team or on different leagues or whatever, but like it brings up a discussion too.
And we're hanging in the top tier on that dude's Twitter page.
There was so one of the things we want to try and do is like do better on Twitter, because like a lot of times people that tweet about soccer, they're on it all the time and they're retweeting, they're reacting to things, they're replying to people. And it's hard to keep up on soccer Twitter if you're not on it more often. But every once in a while, like I'll go on the On the Half Turn podcast Twitter and I'll chime in on things or like try to promote the podcast in different ways. Not a ton. And this one guy was looking for more U.S. men's national team episodes. I'll have to find his name.
His name's Calcio Moneyball.
Yeah. And I said, hey,
Calcio Moneyball.
I was like, hey, like me and my brother did this podcast, like check us out. And he did a promotion relegation ranking for all of the USMNT podcasts. And so he has like a Premier League of like podcasts. And I think at the top, there's like Scuff. There's
there's 2 or 3 tiers?
There's 2 tiers. So there's 2 Calcio, there's 3 Calcio, and like it's kind of funny. And do you have his write-up about us too?
I can find it. But
well, he wrote like a little bit about each podcast. So like someone more well-known, like the Total Soccer Show or Grant Wall's podcast, pretty self-explanatory. For us, he wrote like 2 Soccer Bros, good perspective. Yeah, what was it?
So we're currently in 9th out of 11 in the top flight. So we're battling like a little relegation.
This will get us up. That keep like subscribing, like retweet us, like really pump us up. We got to fight to like be the champions of this league.
Yep. The Soccer Bros coach, unique perspective, worthwhile pod.
Yeah,
his words. So
yeah, so that's pretty cool. But like every episode, what are you wearing, bro? What jersey are you rocking?
USMNT kit. Not you probably know the year.
That's like a 2015, like after the 2014 World Cup, because I actually remember we played like a friendly against Chile in the winter of 2015, like January of 2015, and like maybe like a Gold Cup in 2015. And yeah, I remember the friend that was still Klinsmann era, obviously. And I remember the friendly against Chile, Breck Shea and Josie Altidore started. And it was like prime, like Jermaine, like Jurgen Klinsmann trying out like Jermaine Jones at like center back.
I don't know, dude. I feel like this jersey screams Jordan Morris. Like
that was when he got when he was at Stanford.
And then Jossie Zardes too.
Zardes coming in as like a winger. Yeah, as a winger though. And but yeah, the good times. And like that's part of the reason I think we didn't make the World Cup was Klinsmann kind of dropped the ball in that like 2014 post World Cup to like 2016 window to find good replacements. Yeah, it's a cool kit. It's not one of my favorites, but it's like any USMNT kit's like cool. And
Yeah, I wonder why I bought it.
yeah. So first I wore my Josie Altidore 2017 World Cup qualifying jersey last night to go coach, which is why I watched the game on tape delay, most of it. And I was like, should I wear a US soccer jersey? I was like, all right, if we do 2 more of these pods, I'll save some jerseys for that. So this one's one of my all-time favorites. So the last club team I played for before I got recruited and went to college, Glassboro Elite. So our old coach, he had these old jerseys that say they were Glassboro Soccer. So before he made the club Glassboro Elite, which was, decent club, had some teams, just got guys recruited to college.
That was the club that you made your like big money move to.
Yeah.
Like where you left your boyhood club.
Well, that's like Aronson going to Leipzig.
Yeah.
And then from Leipzig, he'll make another big money move.
Yeah.
So like I went to Leipzig. My version of Leipzig was Glassboro Elite. And then from there it was Stevenson University.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So that's like the leads. So yeah, and then like the team older than us, which I played for as well because they always needed players and whatever. It was their last like weekend tournament together. And they were together since they were little. So he brought out these old school jerseys, let us keep them and whatever. So it's like very like kicking and screaming-esque with like the kind of weird design down the sleeve.
Just looking at it, I can smell it.
Oh no, yeah, dude. It's not comfortable at all. Like it's so old. It's number 36 on the back.
Nice.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I like it. So that's what we're wearing. Wanted to introduce newest thing to the background here. We talked about the jerseys. My Trabzonspor jersey up here. You got the scarf still. Cereal box, Honey Bunches of Oats with Josie Altidore on it. If you could see.
And we're
there.
sponsored.
I wish. We should hit up Honey Bunches of Oats to see if they'll sponsor us. If you move your head, you can see Mbappe. There you go. But Honey Bunches of Oats, Josie Altidore on it. It was a promo for the 2017 Gold Cup. And on the back of the box, it has Josie Altidore, Jordan Morris, and Alejandro Bedoya. So that's where we came from with the national team. So kind of funny. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. And this is where we're at now.
Yeah, now we're going to be talking about Antonee Robinson and Jesus Ferreira. So yeah, we just kind of want to like jump right in here. First. US was sitting all right in the second in the group behind Canada going into this window. So last night they played in Columbus against El Salvador, obviously 1-0 win. They'll play Sunday in Canada, and then Wednesday home against Panama in Minnesota. So 3 games all in cold conditions. But if you get 7 or 9 points, like you're pretty much booking your flight to Qatar. And I think we're already in good shape to get there, especially with
99.4% chance.
Wow. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's Canada, Mexico, US, and then like Panama lurking, and then everybody else at this point. So yeah, 1-0 win. What did you think of like going into the camp? Like how confident were you? What'd you think of the roster? Any big moves? Yeah.
Well, it's another three game window.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you wanted to rack up the points now, it'd be huge.
Yeah.
And especially Canada, like you said, they're sitting first. The roster, not much surprised me. Maybe a few guys got dropped off, but like you can't call everybody in,
Yeah.
And it's a weird time because Berhalter does bring in a lot of MLS players, and MLS isn't playing right now. And we're just coming off of January camp, the US team.
Yeah.
So maybe some players impressed there.
It's funny that like Euro snobs, especially on Twitter, they'll call like January and December camps for MLS players. They call it Camp Cupcake.
Really?
Which is, it gives them a chance to look at some of these players, make a good first impression or second impression with Berhalter. So yeah, you kind of expected there would be some MLS players. Now, those players are all in the off season, other than that camp. But there's also players in Europe that are on a break. Like Aronson hasn't played a Austrian Bundesliga game for a month or so. They're all on a break. I heard, Jordan Pefok was left off the roster, but in Switzerland, they still haven't started their league back yet from the winter break. So it's a lot, everyone's kind of all over the place right now.
So let's look at who they left off.
Yeah.
So
big one first.
Which one?
Who's the biggest one? I would say John Brooks is the biggest.
I mean, he wasn't called in the last one either. So you got to, right?
Yeah, but he's been playing for Wolfsburg and he's doing all right.
You got to wonder if there's some beef.
I think so. So the last time he featured for the U.S. was literally when he got pulled at halftime of the, was it the Honduras game? Away at Honduras. I think it was Honduras.
Was that when they were losing 1-0?
Yeah. And we came back to win, 4-1. But he was, I think, left center back with James Sands as a center back, something like that. And he got pulled off. I think he looked lethargic and kind of sparked him and said maybe he doesn't like, being off the field. And he's one of those guys that's like, I need to be starting. Berhalter's like, I don't do that. I rotate the squad. I'm okay with him not being on there. I like John Brooks. I think he's good. Like in the Bundesliga, he's pretty good, plays at a good level, but he doesn't impress me more than the other guys. We'll talk about it. I love Walker Zimmerman. I think Miles Robinson's good. Chris Richards, I think is okay. I'm not a huge Chris Richards guy. I love Mark McKenzie. I know he doesn't play regularly for Genk. He hasn't been great for the national team. He had a couple of mistakes against Mexico, but I still think he's so good at everything he does. And I think everybody likes him too. He's a hype man.
Yeah. So
you bring in 4 center backs, those are probably my 4 as well. Maybe I would put Chris Richards at the bottom of those 4, but yeah, so no John Brooks. It's funny because today was his birthday and US Soccer wished him happy birthday in social media and people were like, oh, come on, call him in.
Wow.
So another kind of omission from the roster was Josh Sargent. So they left him, he hasn't scored or done anything for Norwich. Literally, they announced the roster. Later that day, he scores 2 goals for Norwich. First 2 goals for Norwich.
Just lit a fire.
Yeah, is he inspired?
Yeah, I think he's going to turn into a whole new player.
But I'm not a huge Sargent guy. I never have been. I never he didn't do it for me.
Yeah, but then
what?
I would have still called him in, really? Even if you didn't think about starting him.
Mm-hmm.
Not the biggest Zardes fan at this point.
Yeah.
Where we are with the U.S. national team, but
I would agree that I'm not a huge Sargent guy, but he does give you more upside than Sargent, than Zardes. If Sargent caught fire and he showed the potential that he has, then he's a higher upside than Zardes. And if you're pretty much going to Qatar and you somehow can get Sargent in form with the national team, that's probably a bigger win than having Zardes, who you're going to get. But I don't have any problem with it. One of the bigger surprises was 4 right backs. So right. Serginho Dest, Reggie Cannon, right? Was it Reggie Cannon?
Yep.
DeAndre Yedlin and Brooks Lennon from Atlanta United. Now, I don't know about Brooks Lennon. He was in that Camp Cupcake. Maybe he did well.
He must have done really well. Because every time I watch him, he's just average.
I guess he's at Liverpool. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he grew up part of the Liverpool Academy. But then that only leaves Antonee Robinson at left back. But Greg's probably thinking Antonee Robinson is fit as heck, so he could probably play all 3 games. Dest could cover on the left if needed, and right. Kellen Acosta can cover on the left as needed. Berhalter has come out and said that. So
yeah, but then why wouldn't you bring in Joe Scally, who plays just about every game for Mönchengladbach?
He's also more of a right back. I think he's been playing more right back recently, but he can play on the left.
He's comfortable on both.
Yeah.
I would have preferred Scally over Brooks Lennon, but let's hope that it doesn't get to the point where we're thin.
At left back, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
right back.
We're gonna have to
Lennon off the bench.
This is Brooks Lennon's only call up. So the biggest news: Chad's boy Luca Della Torre on the roster.
I don't know why we're acting surprised here. When he plays for the U.S., he does well, and he just got Eredivisie Team of the Month.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't claim to watch him play in Eredivisie a whole lot, but I see his highlights and he's clean, man. Obviously it's highlights, but every time you watch him, it's very textbook. He's on the half turn, haha. and like, you know, just in good pockets of space. He's turning, he's driving at people. He can kind of play on the wing, plays as like an advanced midfielder, carries the ball a little bit.
It's the type of center mid that the US really don't have.
Yeah, if
at a high level in the pool.
Yeah, and like I think if you mixed kind of Weston McKennie and Yunus Musa in terms of like in possession ball, like in and around them, he's a bit like both. Musa likes to get the ball and kind of turn and go, and McKennie like kind of finds good spots, but like isn't quite technical enough. So I think he's a good kind of mix of both, and he's a lot sharper than both of them, honestly. Like he's like Luca Del Torre can play in tight spots. I'm not sure McKennie and Musa really can yet. Now that's at a lower level, so that might just be wrong.
Yeah, a lot of people thought he was going to feature in the game yesterday, probably off the bench.
I like the use of soccer terms.
Yeah, feature.
So do you want to kind of go and talk about the lineup for El Salvador?
The El Salvador lineup?
No. I know one guy on El Salvador. It's Alex Roldan, Christian Roldan. That's another thing. People were like, every time the U.S. calls up Christian Roldan or Paul Areola or Zardes, you got to hear all the Euro snobs just like complain. It's like, dude, like they're probably great guys. Like Paul Areola in the locker room is probably the man. You know what I mean? Like if Berhalter keeps calling him in. All right. So the lineup for yesterday. Any surprises? Do you want to go through it? First, sorry, real quick. Zach Steffen was called in as well, but he's having like back problems, so he's probably not going to play this window. Matt Turner started yesterday. Matt Turner going to freaking Arsenal, like out of nowhere. Dude was like a high school lacrosse player, went to Fairfield, undrafted, plays for the Revs, and then it's just like going to Arsenal, like out of nowhere. Taylor Twellman tweets out like Matt Turner to Arsenal rumors are heating up. It's like, what? Like they just bought Aaron Ramsdale for like 40 million. And like, honestly, a good purchase for Arsenal, considering like he'd probably be a great, like reliable backup. Like who knows? Like he could be better than Ramsdale. Not quite good with his feet, but he's a great shot stopper. It's pretty high upside, low risk move for Arsenal. Yeah. It's $7 or $8 million, but
I'm not the best at evaluating keepers, but then you have your two best goalies for the US being backups. Not playing a whole lot of minutes.
I'm sure he'll get
coming time for the World Cup.
Just in time for
unless Sean Johnson just turns up.
Sean Johnson's a beast. In the MLS playoffs, he was a tank, dude. He's so strong. He's good. Matt Turner started yesterday. If you want to go through the lineup, you had Serginho Dest right back, Walker Zimmerman and Chris Richards center backs, Antonee Robinson on the left, Tyler Adams is the 6, Yunus Musa, Weston McKennie, and then front three of Pulisic, Jesus Ferreira, and Timothy Weah. So a couple like initial thoughts. Obviously, we're going to see Turner. Richards starts at center back. I don't see Berhalter sticking with the same center back pairing for all 3 games. And I think he's proven that he's switched it up like between games multiple times. So like I really feel like Berhalter knows that Miles Robinson, Walker Zimmerman are the 2 best right now. They work well together. So I think that's what we're going to see in Canada, because I think this game it's at home against a weak team. And even though like we played well enough to get the win, I don't think Berhalter was like game planning for this game. So same thing with like, if we go up top, Jesus Ferreira is the 9. I think he's just saving Pepe's legs. And like, think about it. Pepe makes a move to Augsburg, hasn't scored in a while, a lot of pressure on Pepe. But if Pepe plays this game and scores, like great, you get his confidence back. If he doesn't score, that's a lot more pressure on him. But if you think about it like this, if Berhalter goes, Pepe, we're going to start you against Canada. We need you against Canada because you're our guy. Then he's still got that confidence and fresh legs against Canada. You know,
I guess I still would have brought him in late in the game. I mean, they brought in Zardes in the 75th minute. You can't give Pepe 15 minutes.
Yeah, but Zardes might be the typical running, like hardworking sub kind of guy.
You can't go into a game thinking, "Oh, what if he doesn't score?" Because looking at some of Ferreira's chances, Pepe would have put those away.
Yeah. Well, so no surprises in the midfield. I honestly
that's the most consistent part of the team.
I think Greg is concerned. I think we have midfield problems. Like we're talking about Luca Del Torre. You know, you have like Roldan, you have Kellen Acosta, but like I think Greg is like scared to death to start anybody else in that midfield. I think Musa was out one of the games or didn't play well. When McKinney's out, we looked at like McKinney got a yellow against Mexico. missed the Jamaica game, we lost.
It's McKinney, not McKinney.
McKinney. It's pronunciation. What are you? He's a Texas boy. All right. Tyler Adams plays right back the one game, and like it looks terrible. So I think Berhalter's like scared to death to like start anybody else in that midfield. But yeah, that seems like it's the midfield going forward.
Yeah, he's like always going to rely on those three. That's the only consistent part of the U.S. team. You know, like center backs won't always be consistent. Maybe the outside backs, but the front three kind of depends on who's available.
Yeah.
So,
real quick, I also want to mention Gio Reyna's still out. He looks like he's going to come back for Dortmund pretty soon. But like Timothy Weah, I think is playing pretty well. And Gio Reyna was kind of like pretty solidly that right winger that tucks inside. But like maybe Gio Reyna is the fourth center mid, or bumps Musa to the bench or something, and he rotates in as a center midfielder. But
or you just have three really good wingers that you can play.
Yeah, and you just rotate. And Aronson makes it forward too, I think.
So
yeah. And so the last question of that was like I mentioned before with the center backs, like I don't think Berhalter thinks that Chris Richards is better than Miles Robinson. Maybe he sees him as an equal, but I think he's going to rotate and mix him around. I don't think McKenzie gets any minutes this window, unless we're up a goal late and he throws him in. At the end.
maybe against Panama if we beat Canada.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? You want to talk about the decision to start Jesus Ferreira? Maybe I have a few reasons why I might.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about like I think keeping Pepe fresh, but he's a different look too. Like you saw the way they played. He's a false nine. He checks back for the ball. He's almost like an attacking midfielder, kind of playing up top.
I felt like a little too much. He was too deep into the midfield.
Twellman pointed that out a lot as well.
Kind of needs to be like posting up on the center backs. Pulisic did come like in field a lot, as you could tell. Maybe he wanted Pulisic to try and combine with Ferreira.
It was redundant a lot of times though too.
But clearly Pulisic didn't have his best game.
Yeah, and you saw a lot. Ferreira would come back, didn't get it, kept coming back, and then like Adams is obviously coming back. He's pretty close to the center backs when we're building out. And then you have Musa likes to come back a little bit. Yeah. So it was like on Weston McKennie, who's not technical enough or not that much of like a threat to like be the attacking creator. So most of our chances were really Serginho Dest and Timothy Weah linking up down the right-hand side, I think.
I thought Antonee Robinson was our best attacker. Actually.
Yeah, he was great, dude. He's just Pulisic didn't really help him out much.
On the first Jesus Ferreira chance where he, in the 15th minute, where it comes into him, he taps to the side and left-footed shot that goes over the crossbar.
I'm trying to remember. I wrote down that he had two chances. I remember his second.
Yeah, well, Antonee Robinson played that one, and he also had the one to the Weah chance. I think that was first half too.
Weah flicked it on?
Came across the Weah, and Weah probably should have taken it on his right, but he put it back on his left. And then Robinson obviously got the goal. So I thought Robinson was definitely our best attacker.
Yeah. But the game, like, so I got back from coaching, watched the last 30 minutes, and then I watched the rest of it like on tape delay. And I was like kind of stunned with like how fast the first 5 minutes were. And like I think that's just the nature of a World Cup qualifier. Greg's probably like getting them all fired up or whatever. We started fast, and like it's clearly our game plan to press really high and really hard, right? So like the wingers tuck in, and like we invite the ball, especially the long ball, to the other team's outside backs who aren't as good as us and don't want to build out like we do.
Yeah.
And then when it goes there, a center mid, the near side center mid, or the near side fullback goes and presses, and then everyone's just a unit, and then just like kind of go hunt the ball, and it's pretty effective. It gets the other team out of their rhythm.
I don't know if you remember watching the game, but they must have been talking about Berhalter, put him on the camera, and Berhalter, like they had him mic'd up. He yells, "Timmy, higher!" And he wanted like Weah. I'm not sure so much on the other side with Pulisic, but he wanted Weah like on their left-sided center back.
Yeah,
like pressing the heck out of their left-sided center back. And you saw that also. Aronson came in later and did the same thing, but he did it too late. And there's a clip I'll show you afterwards. He was able to play.
Yeah, that's literally like if you're compact as a unit, like that front three like drops off a little bit, like almost like invites them to play, but the space is the outside backs who are further out wide, and then wherever it goes, you can just move as a unit. and one guy steps out, one guy covers, and you kind of trap them on the sideline there. And that seems like a theme that Berhalter with this national team does. But, like Berhalter's an MLS guy, Jim Curtin, the Union coach, MLS guy. I was listening to a podcast with Jim Curtin, and the guy asked him about, Kevin Kincaid asked him about like how he sets up his press and what's it about. And Curtin was very he was honest. He was like, really, we just look at data. We look at who's the worst build out player on the other team with the ball. And we just kind of let him have the ball and then go press from there, set traps off of that. So most of these teams, are El Salvador's right and left back going to be good with the ball? No. So you just press the heck out of them. We did it to Mexico too.
Yep.
And we set those traps. El Salvador didn't really have much of the ball. When we were building out, Adams had to find some space because their number 10 would mark him. Their attacking mid. They pretty much played a 4-2-3-1. We made them.
I thought they were pretty well coached, honestly.
Yeah.
Giving the U.S. a tough game, and
dude,
they said before the game that they would they weren't going to just sit in against the United States. They were going to press them, and not like they just high pressed them and pressed their center backs, but if Musa tried dribbling forward or Weston tried dribbling forward, they were on them. Yeah, they were compact. They weren't really high pressing. They weren't in a low block. They were compact and pressed when they needed to. So they didn't let Tyler Adams have a whole lot of the ball. And if you notice, our midfield wasn't dribbling a whole lot. And that's honestly why our best attacks were getting way in behind, use his speed. And he would tuck inside, and then Dest would play him down their right wing. One thing that I noticed, this was a big thing, I thought. I mean, Weston McKennie's really good for Juventus getting the box. He's late runs in the box. That's his game, kind of.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard style.
All right. McKennie's definitely not a Frank Lampard.
I'm kidding. But I would like to see him get in the box more, but it was kind of McKennie's on the right side, Moose is on the left side. And McKennie didn't move much from the right side, didn't really get in the box at all. I thought as the game went on, McKennie floated up top as a number 10 or a second striker a lot, just because he wanted the ball. And Musa ended up coming deeper. Adams was deep. Musa would drop deep. Yeah, I agree.
And then one of the things that lets a couple times Adams drops in, and it lets our fullbacks get higher, right? Dest and Robinson were two of our best attackers. They're our fullbacks. One of the things I thought was pretty evident early, and then as the game went on, I didn't think Chris Richards was that good. A couple times he stepped and didn't win the ball. Mm-hmm. Now he made a foul, or he committed a foul, and maybe that was planned. No one really remembers if you commit a foul. They'll remember if you conceded a goal. So not a bad idea. Yeah. But it just wasn't great stepping. He wasn't great with the ball. People think of Chris Richards as this line breaking machine. He just gets the ball and splits lines. He doesn't. It's I don't know.
One time he tried. Do you remember the one time he tried dribbling forward, dribbled about 10 yards?
Yeah, and he got dispossessed. I wrote that down, and I was like, what is he doing? Just knock it backwards and keep it. And look, I'm all for players trying things, but at this level,
it just shows it doesn't. You're not just gonna play because of the team that you're on.
I think he's given
he's played on Bayern and he plays at Hoffenheim. Doesn't mean he's better than someone who plays.
And I like him too. I just think, like I said, I think Miles Robinson's better than him right now. And if the U.S. are going to press, and like we talked about, they press with 3 high and they invite the ball to the other team's outside backs. Now, let's say El Salvador knocks it over to their right back, and Antonee Robinson has to step out. Now you need your 2 center backs to be able to cover ground if needed and delay the forward play. So I think Berhalter realized that he needs mobile center backs. Not that Chris Richards isn't, but Walker Zimmerman and Miles Robinson definitely. They're mobile as heck. They can move. Maybe that's why he doesn't like John Brooks as well. John Brooks kind of lumbers a little bit. So I think the mobile center back is definitely a trend in the modern game, because a guy like Upamecano was 2 guys back there because he could just go all over the place and just slow down attacks and lets your team press higher.
Good point, because I think Upamecano has American citizenship.
Oh, dude, dual national Upamecano?
I don't think he's capped yet for France. No.
Funny story, when I didn't know how to say Upamecano. I knew I wasn't pronouncing it right, but one time I called him Upper Campo, and Chad still gives me crap for that. I didn't know how to pronounce it, Upamecano. He's a guy's class, though. So basically, Miles Robinson is the American Upamecano. But yeah,
back to the USA.
Walker Zimmerman, I think he's great, man. Like, he's, first of all, Taylor Twellman talked about on the broadcast how he's like, this might have been his last chance. He wasn't originally called in. Was it 2 windows ago, I think? And somebody got hurt. He got called in, ended up playing a game.
Oh, yeah.
But just watch him, dude. He's always pointing. He's telling people where to go. He's running up. He's making sure he's getting back. He's the focal point on like all attacking set pieces. We talked about it last episode or a couple episodes ago. We went to the Union Nashville playoff game, and we were sitting like, pretty close to the field. Like, first half, Union were attacking Nashville near our side. So we got a lot of Walker Zimmerman. He was playing center back in a back three. Dude was like phenomenal, like didn't miss a pass, heading out everything. And like, I get that's MLS. This is a different level, but I think he's great. And he did mess up one pass. He was dribbling to the right, and he tries to play past the Dest or split line of Dest, and they get it and counter. Dest gets bodied off the ball. They counter. And they play a ball in behind Chris Richards and Antonee Robinson.
Is that the Alex Roldan chance?
Yeah, he did kind of rip that thing too. Now, I don't think it's fully Zimmerman's fault. I think Dest gets bodied a little bit, and the transition to defend needs to be better. But other than that, like,
that's all they gave up the whole game. No.
Yeah, that's really, the XG was in the US's favor 100%.
We need to get that XG.
I do.
Can someone in the back get the XG for us?
Yeah, get the XG. Yeah. We got a tech guy in the back, stat nerd. And I think Zimmerman too is very willing. Like, we just kind of criticize Chris Richards for trying to dribble out of the back, which I'm okay with someone trying to, because you're eventually going to create a numbers up scenario if your center back can dribble, right? So like, I'm okay with that. Now, if it doesn't work out, you're gonna have to be mad too. But Zimmerman can do that. There were times where they're forward. So if they're pressing in a 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-1-1, same thing, right? Their forward comes, cuts the switch, and then goes to press Zimmerman. If Zimmerman can take a positive touch or a couple positive touches, just enough to get by him, he's already beaten him. And then their number 10 probably isn't going to step out to press him either. So he just got past their first line of 2 fairly easily and then can just complete a pass. And Zimmerman's comfortable doing that.
So
did it multiple times.
I remember it was Jamaica we tied, right?
In Jamaica, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember listening to an interview with Walker Zimmerman.
Oh, dude, what podcast was that?
It wasn't. It was a post-match interview.
Do you listen to those?
Yeah.
I think
I listened to the pregame ones too, but the post-match was interesting because he like kind of gave a lot of detail, and like when they knew, he said he knew he had the dribble that game to like beat and he said, yeah, the inside pass wasn't there, so we knew we wanted to try a wing progression. That's a term.
Dude, that's so dope, dude. I'm gonna start using that.
Like, I think that's like the kind of terms that they use. Like, he's like, great. Oh, and then we wanted to start a wing progression. So I think it's pretty cool that like he's probably coached by Berhalter to as soon as he starts dribbling, maybe look and field. If not, start a wing progression.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna start using that. Bro.
And there was a good amount of wing progressions.
When did you watch that interview?
Right after the game.
And you're just telling me a month and a half later, you're just telling me?
It's one of those things that you listen to and it sticks with you. You know what I mean?
Dude, so every time you're playing, are you like wing progression, central regression?
Well, that's the first thing I think of when I think of Walker.
It'd be even funnier if like that wasn't a Berhalter or like a team thing. That's just like the way he thought.
I feel like it's a thing that the team says.
Dude, that's I mean, it's very true. Like, and it's also becoming something in the modern game. The US do this very well, where right, if you're pressing with 3, let's say Pulisic's playing left wing. El Salvador's right center back gets the ball, right? So that's essentially Pulisic's guy. Pulisic will get in the passing lane between their defensive midfielder and their right center back. So now the central pass isn't on, and they have to do a wing progression, right? So Pulisic is forcing that guy. He's making play predictable. Berhalter says it all the time, make play predictable. He's making play predictable for the right center back to pass it to their right back. Now, who's getting ready to press their right back? Yunus Musa as a left center mid, or Antonee Robinson as a left back. Mm-hmm. So make him play predictable, and like he's just blocking different passing lanes. And Jamaica probably did that well. You know, Mikel Antonio plays up top for Jamaica. He knows what he's doing, man. Fierce West Ham press.
It's pretty good.
I love a good Walker Zimmerman talk. I think he's one of my favorite players on the team. Couple things I wrote down. Like one of the things I was thinking about was, I don't know if maybe Berhalter's just fitting it to the personnel. But what if Berhalter's just a really big nerd, right? And he looks at the data and he's like, I think our fullbacks are our best attackers and they create the most dangerous situations when they're up the field. So let's just set the team up to make sure that they get the ball out wide. And he's like, Pulisic tuck in, Timo Weah tuck in, and
just call him Timo Weah.
Timo Weah.
I don't think it's so much like just looking at the data. I think it's just looking at your personnel.
The eye test, the good old fashioned eye test.
Like our two best outside backs are very attacking.
Yeah.
Outside backs.
It's funny because Antonee Robinson, like you think of outside backs as like good attackers, as like super technical, like Dest. Robinson's not that technical at all. He just bullies people.
He only goes like north and south. I've never seen him go like anything. But
he's so like straight up
forward.
And stiff. He's like looks like a cartoon. I love that guy. So yeah, I thought Dest was good. He was really positive. Like he'd get the ball and drive. He had a couple nice like. He drove and crossed. He was looking to cross. He was looking to connect with Weah. Yeah. I think him and Weah have the best partnership on the team. Now, maybe you talk about like Tyler Adams and like McKinney or Musa, but I think right now Dest and Weah have the best partnership in terms of like when Weah tucks in, Dest can push up and they'll kind of create a 2v1 where he like plays that ball into the channel for Weah to run onto. I still don't think I think Weah is playing really well right now, and I thought he had a good game last night. I still don't think he's like the most like talent. If Jordan Morris didn't get hurt, I would have had Jordan Morris out of him. And I still think Brendan Aronson could be more productive than him. But like right now you roll with Weah, like getting in those dangerous situations. And
you don't need like two of the same type players on either wing. You know, like if you were to start Aronson, like Pulisic and Aronson, I guess kind of offer you the same thing attacking wise.
Definitely not on the press.
But like Weah is like so much faster, gets end line, gets across. Like every time Weah is going to take a big touch to his right, and he's really good at getting his crosses.
Yeah, or he cuts it back super hard, and the dude like goes, sliding. It's also like we talk about it all the time, like how progress isn't linear, right? Player development is not linear. So Weah is like this wonder kid. He scores a crazy goal in the U17 World Cup. I think he's great in the U20 World Cup, or like pretty good in the U20 World Cup. And then goes to PSG, doesn't work out, a couple hamstring injuries, and then finds his place at Lille, and then all this stuff, and like he finally is getting his form back for the national team. So like it just shows that like you can't give up on young guys, and like there's always like a scenario, putting players in a situation that benefits them, like can get them out of a rut or something. I just think it's fascinating that people will like they like a player and then they can him when he's not doing well, and then they just leave him in the can. It's like this player progression is not linear,
Right.
One of the things we kind of, we just talked about the wingers a lot. What'd you think of Tyler Adams?
I don't really have much opinion. Honestly.
Yeah, I most people talk about him like he's the most important player of the team. I think at times he kind of is, but like he wasn't good on the ball yesterday. Like he gave away a lot of passes, and like I don't think he didn't make any like great passes. Like he's there to break up a lot of stuff, and I think he's like the engine that kind of like will go when they need to go, press when they need to press. He had a couple sloppy touches. One time he went to press and just like kind of got dribbled around. I think somebody had to commit a foul. So like we're gonna need a better Tyler Adams against Canada. No. Canada without Alphonso Davies coming off a tough win. That's might be a little easier, but we're still going to need him big time.
You could give me any player on the field, and I probably could have give you an opinion, but I really just didn't have an opinion on Tyler Adams.
So I just gave you a player on the field, and you didn't have an opinion.
Other than that.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he's so, sometimes.
I guess like, I don't know. Maybe it's the way I watch the game sometimes, because like sometimes when like a defensive mid has space, like I'm not just watching like the defensive mid, like look around.
It's kind of a fun thing to do though.
I'm looking like farther up the field, like looking to see like what other people's movement is. So
That's true. I think he comes back for the ball a lot, which is, he needs to get the rhythm of the game. I'm cool with that. But I also think, like, if El Salvador's pressing with one, you got to trust that Chris Richards and Walker Zimmerman and Matt Turner can deal with that, right? Maybe throw Matt Turner in the Ederson role and like how Pep's been doing, like he'll put Ederson as like a center back and build up. So they advance a guy to midfield.
Really?
Matt Turner in the Ederson role. But yeah, he was, we're going to need a better Tyler Adams, but it's whatever. I also don't think he doesn't play that consistently for Leipzig. It's like every other game. It's like he's in the lineup. He's not in the lineup. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that can influence his form a bit, but when he's with the US, he's going to start.
Yeah. And it also shows like Leipzig's obviously a good situation for players to develop and whatever, but like players are different in different situations. That's why I still think Josie Altidore could get called up right now to the national team and be good.
We could have done this podcast without you mentioning Josie Altidore.
Yeah, but we won't.
And we've done it twice.
We won't.
3 times.
We won't.
Jersey, cereal box, and then the fact that you still think Josie Altidore should be.
It's funny that you just used like those 3: Jersey, cereal box, like that. I actually have a Josie Altidore jersey right over there too. Last couple notes I have. What did I write? Ferreira flicks.
I mean,
did he flick a ball? Why did I write flicks?
It was probably his second chance.
Oh,
so in the 19th minute, I have Dest bombing down, gets a nice cross in way, gets a nice flick in. Pepe would have buried this. Probably Zardes would have buried this.
Josie Altidore definitely would have buried this.
Definitely Zardes would have buried it because you're playing in Columbus. The experience Zardes has. I'm just kidding.
That Columbus air, man, just hit Zardes.
But yeah, Ferreira puts it wide. I mean,
that's just, he hit it with the Tolman was grilling him for hitting it with the outside of his right foot when he should have.
Everyone's like just hating on this guy, but like Ferreira. But
he's
like
a young player, man.
He works hard. He does a lot of stuff off the ball, like in possession, does a lot of stuff off the ball. And he missed that chance and got right back up. Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's what, 20, 21 years old?
He's getting in 19, dangerous
I don't even know
spots. I don't know if he got credited with the assist for the goal, but he
no, it was Weah who did the bike.
Yeah, he flicked it on though. Weah got the ball and cut in. It took a deflection, whatever. Ferreira flicks it on, and it falls to Robinson. So
you're right.
He's in a dangerous spot, contributing to attacks. And he also, this is maybe why I wrote flicks. He flicked one on to Musa. Musa takes one off his chest and hits a left-footed shot, and their goalie makes a good save.
Dude,
one of those chances that make you go like this, bro.
Yeah, I know, because I would have cashed the plus 400 anytime goal from Yunus Musa.
Oh, dude, that's kind of a bad bet. I don't know why you would.
Yeah, but
he did score for Valencia the weekend before. So, what else did I write in my notes?
And
that's all I have, unless you're ready to talk about Christian Pulisic.
Why'd you say it like that? You close it and then talk.
My mini notebook.
I was just gonna say, and then Antonee Robinson had another good chance, shot on goal in the 65th minute. Shortly after, we sub on Aronson for Pulisic.
Well, I think they're saving some Pulisic legs for Canada.
And then 72nd minute, you bring on the dynamic duo of Jordan Morris and Jussie Zardes.
Euro snob's worst nightmare.
Yeah. And then the game just kind of.
Yeah, the ending was very ugly. It was just like El Salvador was still their only goal down, but they kind of seemed out of it. Like it was just kind of seeing out the game. Good to see Jordan. Like I really think Jordan Morris is good, man. Like before that ACL tear, I was like, dude, he could be like the guy who scores us 5 or 6 goals in a World Cup qualifying cycle.
He was going to play in Europe. He was going on a loan to Swansea
in the championship.
If he played well, probably would have.
And they were fighting for promotion, I think, right? Him and Ariola also went. Ariola in the Premier League. What are they going to say now? Yeah. What are the Euro snobs going to say now?
What do you want to talk
but
about?
I just think, like, should we be worried that Pulisic's not playing well? Not playing great for Chelsea either. Ever since he scored against Liverpool, like it's kind of rough for him. And he kind of had a bad game other than that goal.
Yeah. So I feel like every interview he does, every question's like, oh, how is it with Chelsea? How is it coming to the national team? And he like keeps opening up about how things are tough.
Oh,
Like, and like, I feel like it's just all in his head. That like,
maybe.
I feel like he's feeling like a lot of pressure.
Mhm.
He opened up about mental health.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like in the summer, I'm pretty sure he did. So I think it's like that kind of stuff's getting to him. And I guess it could be a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders
Mhm.
trying to take the U.S. to the World
I mean,
Cup.
he's like a 17 or 18-year-old trying to do it, which is insane to think about, bro. Like, I coach high school kids that are 17 and 18. Imagine one of those guys trying to like be the best player on a team trying to go to the World Cup. It's crazy to think about. But for me, like, with the US, I was hoping he could kind of like break free and just be him. Now, maybe Berhalter puts him in a better situation against Canada to do it. I could also see a scenario where Berhalter doesn't start him against Canada, subs him on at halftime. Aronson is kind of there, or Jordan Morris, whoever he wants to give minutes to, or Areola, honestly, probably what it's going to do. Shore it up, make sure we're compact defensively, pressing. Sub Pulisic on at halftime. Just tell him, hey, go be free, whatever. Game's a little more open now, and figure it out from there.
You got to start him, and I'm gonna give my opinion because
he didn't start him against Mexico.
Let me give my opinion.
Okay.
Because I have a podcast, and this is my opportunity to give my opinion. Why do they always give Christian Pulisic a free role? I don't know. Has he ever played in a team that gave him a free role? How much better is he than some of the U.S. players that like we have? Like, is he that much better? Where it's like, go do whatever you want. Why can't he just play like out on the left and take players on
and be like a left winger?
Yeah, like his normal position, or you know,
I don't know. I think every national team has like that guy, whether they earned it or like he's earned it before, but like whether they continue to earn it or not, they just get the benefit of the doubt in every like scenario, and like the guys just like respect them like that. I don't know, man. Like, to me, I always look back at like youth development or soccer development overall, and like it just shows like we got to take care of these like creative players, right? People can't praise Pulisic for coming on and scoring the winner against Mexico, or taking players on and scoring against Liverpool, whatever, and then being like, oh, he tried that move and it didn't work out. Well, if you're a creative player or a dangerous player, you have to do that all the time. And most of the time it won't work out. But when it does, you win games, you win trophy. Like, those are the game-winning moments that we talk about. If you're just a good player and you play backwards, you do this, you do that, there's only so room for so many of those guys. Those are valuable. But like, there's only, you know what I'm trying to say? We got to take better care and be more like not respectful. You know what I'm trying to say, for these creative players, and let them be creative.
In his current situation at Chelsea, he's not being told to just do whatever he can. It's more structured.
I will say, like, the role, I think yesterday against El Salvador, he came back too far for the ball, and he was pressing it a little bit. He was forcing the dribble forward a little bit. I think he could have picked his spots a little better, but it's similar to what he does at Chelsea. Like, ideally, he's like playing like a left inside forward. You have like Marcos Alonso like overlapping. He could play as like a left inside forward and come back for the ball, and have Antonee Robinson overlapping. Our fullbacks get.
I don't think he needs to touch the ball in the defensive and middle thirds of the field. I think the U.S. is good enough, especially against El Salvador, to only have Pulisic be able to create things in the attacking third.
Mm-hmm.
Do we really need him coming back to the halfway line and trying to link up?
Well, that's part of like we talked about, like Ferreira being redundant. Like, I'm all for midfield overloads and whatever, but like if Ferreira's coming back and Pulisic's coming back, if that's Pepe or if that's Zardes or somebody else, I don't know, Timo Werner, Lukaku, like they might be taking that channel that Pulisic just vacated and running in there. And then we have, if we have Musa, McKennie, and Pulisic higher up the field, we don't need Ferreira in there. If that's, somebody else playing the number 9, Pepe, he's maybe making that channel run. And like, that's what's stretching the defense to give Pulisic that space. But if everyone's just coming back, then like there's no room in there, and Pulisic's not, he's kind of fragile. Like, he's not not the most fit player. Like, he's like, there's injuries there. He's never like a super, super hard worker. Like, he's never going to press like Aronson. No one really is. But so like, he's never going to make just like a bombing run for the sake of making that run. Like Weah did it a couple times where he just makes the run. And he's like, I hope I get the ball, but I might not get it. Pulisic's not doing that. That's okay. He's not that player, but you just got to account for it somewhere else on the field. But yeah, I think if it's a trend, then we'll talk about it against Canada. If it's just one game, he's just getting used to it.
Yeah. So like going forward, it'll be interesting to see like some of the stuff that we talked about tactics wise, what they can improve on, what they did good, and what will happen in the next 2 games.
Yep. I think
because the starting 11 really is like becoming more consistent. By the windows and by like groups of games,
which is ridiculous that people would criticize Berhalter like for mixing lineups and doing this, doing that, when like he was clearly going to hammer it down, especially when he had like a string of meaningful games finally. But there's still spots up for grabs, and like there's spots to rotate too. There's 3 games in 6-day period. Like you could rotate spots and like let players like earn it, fight for them, like make everyone feel part of the team too. If you don't rotate the squad, like that guy on the bench might have a hard time like really getting integrated into the team. And when he's called upon, he might not be able to perform. I think he's going to play Zimmerman. I think he's going to play Robinson. Obviously Turner in goal again, I think Turner might play all 3 games, honestly, unless Stefan's good to go. I think he's going to have to play. So Miles Robinson, Walker Zimmerman. I think he's going to have to play Antonee Robinson and Dest again. And maybe if we're winning towards the end, he subs Dest for a Yedlin or something. Yeah. More experience in there. I think he goes with the same midfield 3 and maybe like more of like a Kellen Acosta
they all
sub.
Played 90.
Yeah. I think he's going to use.
You think
Kellen
all
Acosta
go
as a
90
sub.
again?
No. I think Costa, I'm hoping De La Torre gets some minutes as well.
Yeah, me too.
And I think he'll go.
I'm
going to go bold.
All right.
I'm going to go Areola. I'm going to go Pepe. And we're going to go Weah.
Dude.
Aronson's going to be a sub. I think Pepe, like Zarda's going to go in for Pepe. And I think Pulisic's going to sub in for Areola.
So
what do you look up Canada's roster? First of all,
I was just looking up Canada's lineup because they came out in a 3-4-3. What they normally play. I don't know what we played against Canada the first time.
Our normal formation.
Okay, I didn't know.
We only went with a back 3 once, and it was
try and match up against some both.
No. So no Alphonso Davies. It's funny that their center back is Steven Vittoria. You remember when he played for the Union?
Yeah,
he came from Benfica. But yeah, their attack's nice. They have good players.
Jonathan David's goal. Did you see that? Goal?
Yeah, that was cool. I honestly like. I might not be saying this after we have like a hard fought game with them, but like I kind of like Canada. I kind of like after
They're
qualifying.
In a similar situation as the U.S., like where they got a lot of good young players going to Europe.
I'm gonna be rooting for them in the World Cup 100%. Not like Mexico. I root against them all the time.
Dude, you gotta have pride for your country.
Yeah, but Landon Donovan said Mexico is his second team. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, all right. Last thing, I guess, unless we have anything else, we didn't really talk about Weston McKennie. He was pretty good, very effective, and obviously in like more of like a roaming kind of number 10 role a bit when he wanted to rotate up higher.
I would disagree. I thought he was asked to play on the right side of the 3.
Yeah, but he roamed where he wanted it within that. He didn't.
No,
I'm not saying
he
ventured to the left side of the field.
I really don't think he touched the left side of the field.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he moved higher and would drop backs when he wanted to as well, when he wanted to touch.
Yeah, I feel like he was told to play with Dest and Weah. Weah would play inside. Dest was always down on the wide channel.
Yeah. 5 vertical channels.
Whipping out all the terms. And then I feel like McKennie was just like the link guy there.
Yeah,
he
made a couple runs out wide too,
which I don't think
he's there to press.
Is the reason why we didn't see him make runs into the box. Is what we normally see him do.
I think we also didn't have as much hold up play, and like our sustained possession wasn't great. I I wish if Weston McKennie was like 15% more technical, right? Like every time he does something good, and he made the one play where he dribbled out of pressure and played it down the line to, I think, Weah. But if he was just like a little bit cleaner on the ball, like he'd be so much better because like he's in good form. He's clearly has confidence now, playing a lot for Juve. If he was just like a little bit cleaner on the ball, if he started playing soccer at like 10 instead of like 14 or whenever he did.
You started playing soccer at 14?
I think so. I think he played like football. Could be wrong, but like
Someone needs to fact check us.
He's just not, he's not a technician, but good player. So
I think it's kind of you.
He is what he is.
National teams, you play with what you have.
Yeah,
It's a different type of coaching situation.
I think if there's one player that, like, if we didn't have Weston McKennie, I think the team would look different. I think Berhalter would play with different types of. He would put like a Luca Della Torre type in Weston McKennie's spot, and they would stick to that spot rather than McKennie as like an athlete, bruiser, kind of roamer, link guy. Does that make sense? He would put like guys that could pull the strings a little better.
I like those types of midfielders.
What types? Pull the string guys?
No, the bruiser, like not like bruisers,
Weston
but
McKennie.
like athletic and strong.
Weston McKennie.
And Musa. I like how.
Yeah.
I like the double 8.
But Musa's smoother.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
better ball retention.
No argument there. You're right.
All right. Anything else?
No.
I think this was a pretty good breakdown for, I think we both took notes. We both had like some.
Yeah. If someone just has an hour out of their day to sit back and relax and listen to
this took an hour?
A recap. Probably close to it.
Wow. We were like, yeah, this might be like a 20-30 minute recap. But like, I'll take an hour.
You talked about our jerseys for like 15 of it.
And like, I don't know, man. I feel like people like the clips we post on Instagram and TikTok and all that, but like we need some feedback. I want to see like some iTunes ratings or like YouTube comments and like really like get us like some suggestions. Cause like, unless I specifically ask, like if I put up like a poll on Instagram or like I text someone and ask them like, hey, what do you think? Or what do you want? Like, I want people to just be like, hey, like talk about this player, like, or, hey, I hate this player. Like what, like, here's why. And be like, okay, we'll bring it up. So yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, just a few thoughts to ponder as we leave.
Okay.
The U.S. can clinch qualification if they win their next 2 matches, and Panama lose their next 2 matches.
Well, us winning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Costa Rica lose or draw their next 2 matches.
Well, Costa Rica plays Mexico on Sunday. That's a good game. So
they
they'll
have
probably
after
lose.
that.
Yeah. Clinch like top 3 qualification.
Clinch qualification.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that means top 4.
Cool. All right. Is that it for episode 32?
Yep.
All right. That's it.
All right.
Peace.
See you guys after Canada.